Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm, of course, your host, Blitz, and in today's video, well, we're back again with another comparison, and this one I'm actually really excited to do because this compares both of the largest caliber guns in World of Tanks Blitz, the FV215B 183 and the Jagdpanzer E100. Now, the 183, as it says in the title, carries a 183mm armament, dealing 930 damage per shot. That is just crazy how deadly the vehicle is. Not only that, but if you load the high explosive squash head on this tank, you are dealing 1300 average damage with over 240mm of penetration. So yeah, the 183 is a tank, while it definitely has its fair share of drawbacks, which I'll be letting you know when I do play it, it still is an extremely deadly tank. Now when you talk about the Jagdpanzer, it as well has its ups and downs, but one thing that you cannot knock about this tank is the gun. Not only does it deal 800 average damage with the 170mm gun that it does have, if you need to load the premium, something the 183 does not get the luxury of doing, well, you're going to have 680mm of damage, should I say, which is still a very deadly amount. But not only that, but you're going to have over 400mm of premium pen, which again is just going to butter through any armor in the game. And if you do get to penetrate your high explosive, you're going to deal 1200 damage on average. So both of these tanks are extremely deadly if played in the correct scenarios, but of course, they're also very tricky to play, especially the 183. So as always, in today's video, I'll be telling you which tank I do feel is not only a better tier 10 tank destroyer, but also which one is more enjoyable for my personal opinion to play. So if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more like it, especially because I do polls every now and then that you guys can vote and decide on what you want to see come out next on the channel, please make sure to smash that subscribe button down below, as it helps out the channel a crazy amount. But we're going to be starting off with the 183. Now, the thing about the 183 is that it's great. The damage is fantastic. You know, dealing 930 damage. Let's say there's an IS-7 on dead rail that's holding an entire flank of your heavy's back just because he's got a lot of hit points and they don't want to rush on him. And while that is spectacular for that IS-7, the thing about the 183 is a singular shell from this tank can change the entire course of a battle. It will change what is a full health, IS-7 to a half health tank that people then can easily push on, not feel worried about losing all their HP. So that's one major advantage the 183 has, is just changing the course of the battle. But it also comes with a major list of drawbacks. First of all, it is the camouflage rating. This has the worst camo rating out of any tier 10 vehicle in the game, even worse than the Mouse and the Jagdpanzer E100. Now, of course, the issue with that is it means that if anybody, literally anybody, sees you out in the open, you are going to be shot because, of course, you're a 183. People are always going to target that 183, and not only are you going to be shot, but it's going to hurt a crazy amount. So like this battle here, the issue is I gotta be careful, because if any medium tanks are over there, I'm gonna be detected, and then all the tanks that are gonna cross over here are easily gonna spot me as well. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit of an issue there for the tank. Now we got that Jagdpanzer who is peeking his lower plate out, and that was a perfect example to show what happens in the 183 if you're able to get a nice shell out. But at the same time, that was a great example to show what happens when you're detected in this tank. But honestly, that was a shot worth it in my opinion, because we didn't know the 183 was back there. So we got the 54 off to the side, of course, and I would love to be able to try and snap a shell into that T-54 if we can. So I don't know if I'm detected currently. I don't actually think I am, which again is fantastic for me. The enemy team has two 183s on their side, which means that, again, I don't know where both of them... Actually, I do know where both of them are now, which is good for me. I can say that. It's definitely good to know where all the enemy vehicles are, but at the same time, yeah, my teammate just absolutely skewed his entire hit point pool there, which is not necessarily the best for me. But we got the enemy 183 pulling out and fire. Oh no, you can definitely see where the accuracy lets you down. And again, I was spotted from that. That was across the entire map. No other tank would have been spotted firing a shell like that, but long live the 183, it'll get detected pretty much about by anything. So we got the T-54 all the way in that corner. And the crazy thing is, I literally can't detect that T-54. I am almost guaranteed detected by him. And while we were able to finish off him, we weren't able to detect him, which is crazy. Again, how bad this tank is on spotting people and other issues like that. But of course, we were able to use the advantage on this tank, having that big alpha, to whiff a massive chunk of that T-54 right off and put him directly retired back into the garage. Now, I don't know what the enemy tanks are planning on doing here. If they do pull out, this is going to be very poor for me. I want to kind of try and spot them if they do pull off to the side here, because of course if they do, I'm going to be able to get a shot in, but at the same time, if I'm detected out in the open, that is not good for me. So let's aim at that 183's lower plate and fire. Boom, massive shell into the lower plate as well there for 1100 hit points. Again, having that alpha is definitely key in certain scenarios. Like, I was literally able to take what was a full health tank destroyer down to a singular one shot with a single, it's just crazy how how much damage this tank is able to do and what it's able to do to the enemies that it does shoot at. Now, I don't know where the enemy tanks are pushing, of course, and that's one thing I really want to keep an eye on is what the enemy tanks are doing and when they're pushing, because, yeah, it's definitely a little bit of an issue for me, but this FV215B, literally all I have to do is land a shell anywhere on his tank, and he will die, because, of course, I've got that massive Hesh going for me. Pretty much that's it. Just fire a shell at him and he's going to die. So it's definitely a nice thing with that I'm able to just whip him out of the game. But at the same time, I've got to be very careful here because, oh, thank you, M103. Actually, a very nice job for my teammate there. He was able to stop me from at least being detected there. If I'm not detected, that is great. But there we go. We got the 183 pushing right down the center lane, and he's probably going to shoot my M103. If he does, of course, that's going to hurt him a crazy amount. But at the same time, that 183 has not detected me, which means that now I'm going to push very aggressive to try and snap a shell right into the 183, or at least let's get a shell. Oh, again, that accuracy letting me down there big time. That is one big issue with the 183, is that accuracy really just, it just isn't good. Again, yeah, there we go. We're going to try and back up here, but ooh, he did not kill me, which I'm not really sure why he pushed so aggressive, to be fair, in the first place, because, of course, we knew that I had fired, but he didn't know that I actually fired there, so I'm not sure why he did that, to be fair. But now we're up against an IS-4, a 183, and as well a Jagdpanzer E100. Now, thankfully, I had enough hit points to take the shell from the 183. I'm not sure why he didn't fire a Hesh at me, but now we've got an issue again. We've got the tank like the 183 sitting all the way up top there, and I'm going to have to make my way slowly over here to try and get a shot into the side of him. Now, we might actually be able to get a really deadly shell into the side if we play this correctly here. We got that Yag off to the side over here, and we're going to try and slam a shell into the track if we can of this tank. Aim and fire. Boom. Perfect shot into the side of him. That is, of course, not detecting me as well, which is going to make me even more deadly, which is perfect for me. We're already at 4,000 damage as it is. There's 2 minutes left in the battle, and this E3 is going to get a really nice snap right into that 183. Now, the enemy 183 has absolutely no clue where I'm at again, which is fantastic for me. That means that I'm able to stay fairly safe all the way back here. We'll get a nice snap into you, finish him off, and all that's left is the enemy IS-4. So this was a great game to show how the 183 works. If you play it correctly, you use it in the right scenarios, that gun is spectacular. It just gets out those big damage derps like no other vehicle in the game. And even though, while we are a one-shot here, and if the IS-4 does end up pulling around the corner, we have a major advantage over a tank like him because we're able to literally take off 1,000 hit points while he's only able to take off a singular 100 on me. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to get a finishing shot on him because, as you can see, he's going to be taken out very quickly by my M103. Great job to my team here. It looks like we were going to have a defeat, but again, having Alpha changed the course of that battle there. Of course, I didn't want to shoot at that Yag. The only thing I will say, the only issue for the 183 personally for me, is that when I'm running it, I don't want to shoot low health opponents, especially if I'm going to die. I would much rather shoot a guy with 1,300 hit points than finishing somebody off with 23. And like that Yag there, I really didn't want to shoot him because I wanted to get that 183. I wanted to try and get more damage out, but as I knew, it's more important sometimes to get the kill than to always to focus on damage. So now we're moving on to the Jagdpanzer E100. Now, the thing about the Jagdpanzer is, while it doesn't carry the Hesh, while it doesn't deal that 930 average damage, the highest alpha in the game, one thing this tank does have is armor. It has a way better camouflage rating, and as well, it has accuracy, something the 183 had stricken from it. The Jagdpanzer actually got buffed. The accuracy on the move, on dispersion, was great. It's got about a 5-second aiming time and as well 0.285 dispersion because I am running Refined's gun. That is really, really dead-eye accurate. What that means is I can easily stay at the back of the map and hit my shells if I want to run it like a tank destroyer, or like you're going to see me do in this game, because I can't really run it like a TD in this battle. That is one of the issues with the Yag, is that it is a very large target, and when you are large in size, of course, you don't want to sit out in the open. While the 183 is a very easy tank to penetrate and it has literally no armor, honestly, the Yag being stuck out in the open is just as bad because you can see that this tank is literally a building just with wheels. So definitely the Yag is just as dangerous as the 183, at least when playing it when you're stuck out in the open. So you're going to notice I'm actually going to be pushing it over towards the medium side here. That way I can hide the tank. This thing actually has decent gun depression. I think it's around 6 degrees, which makes it, actually effective at holding some ridge lines. But there you go. This is what I wanted. We've got tanks like the E100 spotted all the way across the map. And if we aim in on that E100's lower plate, well, that shell didn't really go in. I kind of had to whiff it just because, as you saw there, I wasn't going to hit it either way. So always nice to try and whiff a shot like that. But if that had hit, you would have seen 800 damage stricken right from that E100. The penetration on this tank is fantastic, of course. It's going to rip through any frontal armor in the game. And yeah, if any medium tanks try and get a little bit feisty here, they try and pop out to shoot this E50M. I'm not sure if they're going to. But if they do, of course, it's going to hurt them a just crazy, crazy amount because it is that big alpha gun on the tank. So we got this STB who made the mistake of pulling out in front of a Yag, and yep, there you go. A full health STB now turned into a one-shot by a singular shell for me and a little bit of a tap from the Sheridan. So we have now brought what was an extremely deadly tank, in fact, one of the deadliest tanks on the enemy team, down to an easy kill for our vehicle. And that is how you kind of want to run the Jagdpanzer, is you got to run it effectively to its own abilities. If you're pushing this tank, you know, aggressive against certain vehicles like that E100 there, it might do decent, but it's really not going to carry the game. Now, the E100 is right in that little side spot, as you can see, and if I can hit a shell on him, of course that's going to hurt a just stupid amount. And we've just got the little snippet of his turret, and boom, there he goes, 759 hit points taken right off him there. That's going to hurt him a very large amount. He's not going to be thanking me in the morning from that one, but now we've got a tank like that 6D2A sitting right out in the open as well, and that 6D2A, because he is pulling off to the side here, we're going to try and pen an HE. Boom, 1194 hit points taken right off the side of that 6D2A. Again, having alpha is always key, as I say, in World of Tanks. It stops people from pushing aggressive on you. It makes you be the aggressive person in the flank. And even while the STB is still getting shots into our team, I'm, of course, the big bad heavy here who's going to be able to just slap the enemy team into pieces if I get the ability to. So that's exactly what I'm going to try and do here. We've got tanks like that E100 still showing me their side if I can get shots into them. And, of course, that's exactly what I'm going to try and do here. We got that E100 side, and kaboom, 859 hit points later. Again, that guy is not going to be feeling too well after a shot like that. So this is where I'm really trying to support my team. That E100 now is to push very aggressive to stop people from, like me, getting big shells into the shots. So yeah, that's going to hurt him a quite large amount. We've got this STB right off to the side, and there you go, finishing off the STB, one of the deadlier tanks on the enemy team. I really wanted to clear. I need my Sheridan to push aggressive on the enemy Sheridan, because if, of course, he does do that, it's going to give me a major advantage on what I'm dealing with here. So yeah, that's going to be perfect for me. The only tank I'm really worried about on the enemy team, of course, is that WT. That is a tank that will hurt me a very, very large amount if it manages to get a shell on me. But at the same time, we've got tanks like the enemy Sheridan who just made a big mistake because, boom, never mind, I take it back. I was going to say, boom, a big shell hitting him, but it did not hit him, as you could see. But again, we're easily going to be at least a very healthy tank in this battlefield here because we were able to use our hit points effectively, shoot the right targets, and come out on top. Now, our Sheridan hopefully is going to rush the enemy Sheridan. I don't know what my Sheridan's doing. I'm going to tell him actually to rush. The issue is we know the WT's in the back, right? And if the WT's in the back of the map, the tank, he's probably sitting in one of those bushes back there. So the biggest issue is that Sheridan's most likely going to outspot me every single time, and that WT is probably going to hit me every chance he gets, which, as you can see, happened right there. So I really wished my Sheridan had have pushed over towards the, at least where the WT was, that way he could have spotted him, but it's no biggie because I'm going to aim at this E100. We're going to see if we can slam a shell into the guy's turret if we get the ability to. That E100, I'm not sure if he's going to try and poke it, but it looks like he is, which means, oh, actually a very unfortunate ricochet there for the E100, and he actually penned through the tougher part of the superstructure. That, of course, is, again, another issue with the YAG. It's just, it's got a big gun, which big guns aren't necessarily the most accurate in all scenarios, but we're going to do the best. We're still over 3,000 damage. We've done the best we can to support our team, and that is how this tank works. So there you go. Thankfully, our E100 there able to get a big slam of a dunk into the enemy E100. And we do know, once again, that the enemy WT is sitting somewhere in the back here. We're actually detected by him as well, now that that WT did fire. He's going to back up, but, oh, come on, the accuracy on this tank once again letting me down. The real issue right now is that enemy Sheridan. He's probably going to have a very easy and clear shot into the side of my tank. So I've got to try and deal with this enemy WT. That is the main target I've really got to clear right out of the battle. So this is where we're going to try. Oh, come on. This gun really just not liking me today, but we're still doing the best we can, of course. We're getting out some big beefy shells. We're hitting them quite hard, and even while that HE did not pen the WT, this Sheridan over here did get a nice shot, and he's probably actually going to be taken out unless we do get this finishing shot in. Oh my god, what the heck? This tank is, oh, well, remember I said it has good accuracy? Apparently not today. It is not liking me on the accuracy, but we are still doing at least decent here. Now, the YAG normally does not play like that. In fact, there is one issue I can tell you about the YAG, and that is it has awful on-movement dispersion values. It is truly awful, and you can see that in play here. It's not hitting its shells. And that's one thing I don't like about the YAG, is you'd really expect it to be this super deadly tank when you're trying to shoot people across the map, but it really doesn't do it. But you know what? I was going to say, if a shot like that hit, I was going to just freak out at this tank for missing those easy shots, but as you saw there, we did do a good job, and it explained actually a lot of the good things and as well the bad things about the Jagdpanzer. We had a lot of easy shells there that should have gone in. Ones like on the E100's turret, ones like on the WT side, the one when we were aiming at the WT when he was up on the hill. That is the issue with the Jag is, while it is an accurate tank, and while it is way more accurate than the 183, it still misses shots, and it's a very easy target to hit because it's so immobile and it's got those big, thick sides. But in my personal opinion, I still think that the Jagdpanzer is a better tier 10 tank destroyer than the 183. It's got armor, it's got accuracy, and it's got penetration. Three things that the 183 doesn't really have a crazy amount of. You can say that the 183 has good pen, but at the same time, it doesn't have premium rounds, so the Jag will always be my new favorite tier 10 tank destroyer. I used to love the 183, but after Wargaming nerfed it, definitely the Jag took its place for my favorite tank destroyer. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Of course, if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more like it, please make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. But other than that, hopefully all of you are doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.